Hey guys, my name is Elizabeth Smeka, and for my final project for Teach Like a Champion, I chose to do my lesson on El Carnaval in Sitges, Spain. This lesson will be taught to 8th grade students in an accelerated course. Standards addressed include Standard 1, students will be able to use a language other than English for communication, which includes both listening and speaking. Students will also engage in conversations, provide and obtain information from one another, express feelings, emotions, and exchange opinions. This lesson will also include all 3 modes of communication, which are presentational, interpretive, and interpersonal. Other standards include Standards 1.2, where students will be able to use a language other than English for communication, which will focus more on reading and writing. Standard 2.1, students will develop cross-cultural skills and understandings. They will be comparing their culture to the target culture. So like I said, lesson will be on celebrating El Carnaval in Sitges. Students will be able to describe the celebration. This will all take place in Spanish and the target language. Students will be able to create and describe their Carnaval mask. Students will be able to express likes and dislikes about the celebration, food, or whatever part of the celebration that we learn about. Students will be able to discuss what they will sacrifice after the celebration. So the technique that I chose to implement into this lesson is the technique what to do. So throughout the lesson, students will be given clear directions on what to do and how to do it. These directions will be specific and will describe a sequence of concrete actions. I will also model what behavior is expected of them when working with their groups. These guidelines and expectations will be clearly visible on the board as students are working. If any issue may arise, I'll be able to distinguish between their inability to complete the task and defiance. If a student is struggling with completing the task, I will reteach and remodel the expectations and actions. So for student growth, using this technique, what to do, it'll help students learn and grow because I will be able to identify the student's needs. More specifically, whether the student is incompetent and needs more help or is defiant and needs a behavioral intervention. Being able to correctly identify this makes it possible for both myself and the student to find a solution and set appropriate goals. It is crucial to make the directives observable, to clearly identify what type of guidance the student will need. Consistently making the distinction between incompetence and defiance will be extremely beneficial for both the learner and for the overall culture of the classroom. So throughout this course, I have learned many different techniques that I plan to implement into my classroom this year. Some of them include 100%, do it again, strong voice, praise, and sweat the details. I really like the idea of 100% because it lets the students know that there's zero tolerance for talking while the teacher is talking and that you won't move forward until you have everybody's attention. I've used some of this technique before, but I look forward to using all the suggestions that were in Chapter 6. Do it again, I'm familiar with. I had a lot of coaches and teachers use this technique, so I'm looking forward to doing that. Having them says the best consequence is having them do it again and doing it better. So I like that because you get it. You don't stop until you get it right, and it really helps the students retain the information. Strong voice, I like showing that you have a presence in the classroom. You know, when you want students to listen, you take a certain stance, and it shows the students that this is time to ears open, sit up, and let's learn. Praise was one I never really thought about, so this was one reason why I was really glad I took this course. I never really thought as praise as a classroom management technique, but now, after reading a couple articles that we were given, I see that it can be effective, and I'm looking forward to using that also. And talking about how middle school students like to be praised privately, so that makes it makes a lot of sense, and I just want to make sure that I use this technique the right way. And then sweat the details. I am a firm believer in sweat the details in all facets of life. And so my classroom is always organized, my home is always organized, and it just makes a difference. It shows, it's your presentation when someone walks into your classroom and they see that it's all organized. It means a lot, and it shows the students that you're organized and that you take what you do, your job, seriously. And then it sets high expectations, and it shows the students that's what you expect from them as well. So I'm really glad that I took this course, and I definitely plan on implementing these techniques into my classroom this year. And thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.